Hey guys, welcome back to the Foolish Show. Of course, I am Foolish Phil. Just wanted to give you some of my foolish takes after Michigan's 77-69 victory over Ohio State. This was a pretty well-played game, honestly. Both sides played pretty well. There weren't tons of fouls. There was good shooting for the most part. And if there wasn't good shooting, there were offensive rebounds. And it was nice to see Michigan get 2 wins in a row. It's been a while. I was going to look it up when the last time Michigan had 2 Big Ten victories in a row. And I'm sure it's been a little bit, but I would almost think it goes back to last year, but again, I didn't look it up, so I could be surprised. You just got to start off with the first half, and it really was Hunter Dickinson started off really strong. Then you had Jett Howard pick up a few points there, Bufkin. All three of those guys were already in double digits in the first half. Michigan ended up leading 41-36 at halftime. A few tidbits there. Ohio State got to the free throw line a lot. They outshot Michigan 9. They made 9 free throws to Michigan's 4. So nice 5-point spread there, and they got to the line 12 times. That really helped compensate for Ohio State's poor shooting. They also offensive rebounded 7 times. So their shooting wasn't as good, but they were still staying in the game with effort plays. And when they were getting fouled, they were in shooting situations, so they got to the free throw line. So that really helped Ohio State stay in the game well that way. Hunter Dickinson was carrying the load for Michigan. He was a burden down low. It seemed like Key couldn't stop him, and no one from Ohio State could really get a stop on him. If anything, he would just miss some little shots. It's like, how is he missing those? But that's just Hunter for it is who he is. Another big key, though, in the first half that helped Ohio State stay in the game, despite their poor shooting, was turnovers. Although Ohio State only had 1, Michigan had 5, and so Ohio State used those 5 turnovers and, turned them into, some points kept in the game. So like I said, it was a 5-point game at halftime. Michigan came out in the second half and just built on the lead and just got it to about 9-10 points, and it would fluctuate there, like 10, 8, 10, 12. It just kept fluctuating back and forth, and basically Michigan handled that in that range pretty much the whole second half. Hunter Dickinson continued to be a dominant force. Not only would he be scoring points, he would also, give good skip passes to guys for open threes. And Michigan was hitting a decent amount of them. They finished, I think, they finished with 35% from three-pointers. I think they hit 9 or 10 three-pointers in the game. And, nice. No one really did anything tremendously in the second half besides Hunter. Jett finished with mid-teens. He had 4 big free throws at the end. He had 2 1-and-1s and the 2 after, so that was really big for Jett Howard to do that. Kobe hit 1 bucket in the second half. A nice corner 3, which was a bailout. Ohio State played some really good D, and he hit the corner 3 just to, okay. So, Michigan just really rode Hunter Dickinson, and it made me think. My last video, after a couple weeks back, versus I think it was Maryland game, where he made the "you're too small to guard me" Maryland guy, and of course the Maryland guy was outscoring him in the first half. But it just made me think that I've seen on other MGO blog and Twitter and such like that, where Michigan fans are saying that it's time to move on from Hunter Dickinson. Would this team be better without him playing or not? And there's 2 sides to this. Obviously, when you see this day where he gets 26 points and double-digit rebounds, another double-double, you can see, well, he's clearly the super important to Michigan. The other side of it, too, is Terrace Reed got 4 fouls in his limited, 5 minutes of action. If you had to go with Terrace Reed as, your main minutes guy, you would be in really big trouble today, because he just was getting called for everything, and he couldn't seem to play any solid defense. And it really would hurt your bench, too. Baker had, I think, 8 points, but Reed and Jace Howard had nothing off the bench. So, after the Northwestern game, where Coach Howard really used his bench quite well really smartly to tire out Northwestern, Michigan barely used the bench anything today. It was basically Joey Baker. Howard did play a few minutes, but like I said, Reed got out in foul trouble way too quickly. So the bench was really small today. I think Hunter ended up playing 35 minutes of the 40. So, obviously in this game, when it's a matchup advantage, Hunter Dickinson can be and is a difference maker for Michigan. It just seems he has to be willingly invested in the game some way, shape, or form. And then he seems to play very well. I'm not saying in other games he's not invested or he just doesn't play well, but it's like he just doesn't seem to have the same effort, you know. But it is what it is. I would say he did not settle for jump shots very much today. He only shot, I believe, 1 3-pointer and, you know, only a couple jumpers, and I think he hit 1 of the 2. But everything else was like in the blocks. Ohio State was doing their best not to double team him, but when he was doubled, he seemed to get some open shots for other players. So obviously, start of the game, 26 points, at least 10 rebounds. Hunter Dickinson, another double-double. Overall, what does this do for Michigan? If you didn't see the broadcast, they actually now have 2 quad 1 victories because Maryland must have won yesterday, and that bumped Maryland into a quad 1 victory when Michigan beat them, blew them out in early January. So Michigan now has 2 quad 1 victories on the year. And they're going on 2-game winning streak, and they have, I think, 2 more home games here. I think Ohio State was their first of 3. All 3 games are at home, including Ohio State, are winnable games. It would be crazy if Michigan would run a little bit of hot basketball here and win these 3-game home stretch. Another thing saying how crazy the Big Ten is, Michigan won today, and they're now tied for 3rd in the Big Ten, which is just like, really? The Big Ten is a hot mess. I know, I honestly think it's Jay Wright and CBS trying to make the Big Ten look better, say how good they are, but outside of Purdue, I don't see any team that's going to do anything in the Big Ten. At any given night, you know, Indiana can get hot. You know, Michigan State can get hot. It's just like, how likely is it? You just don't see it from this league overall. Maybe I'll be shockingly, pleasantly surprised when we come to March Madness. But it's like, I just don't see the Big Ten as being that great of a conference. And CBS, obviously, who has Big Ten rights, is like trying to pump them up a little bit. Like, oh, this is, you know, Jay Wright saying they're as good as the Big 12 in basketball. I'm like, no, they're not. But, you know, they got to try to sell their brand, right? Just like ESPN selling the SEC, Fox selling the Big Ten. It is what it is, and the Big East and so on. You got to sell your brand. I would have to say I was pleasantly happy with the effort. I tried not to get too overly invested in the game, but I still was like mad at the end. Like, what was that? Why are we doing that? But it is what it is. Hey guys, oh, I see I got a phone call. Sorry about this. See if I can quiet that. Sorry. I'll call them back. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments, please put them in the box below. I'll try to respond as I'm able to. As always, go blue.